Welcome to the Veritas Equipping Podcast, a podcast designed to provide insight, resources, and biblical wisdom. Our mission as Veritas Church is raise up mature disciples, send out everyday missionaries, glorify God. Join us as we pursue Jesus to become mature disciples and effective disciple makers for God's glory.
All right, Veritas, welcome back to our Equipping Podcast on Christian marriage. We've been talking about marriage, but specifically, what does it mean to be a Christian in marriage? We've talked about being a godly husband. We've talked about being a godly wife. We've talked about godly conflict. And here I'm again with my wife and Garrett and Karlee to talk about just some practical advice when it comes to marriage. So, guys, each of you chime in. What's a way we can leave our people with and saying, hey, this has been helpful advice in my life that somebody maybe gave to you or you've just picked up along the way?
My mom gave me some advice before I got married.
I love your mom.
I wish I knew her exact words, but it was something like, if you keep him happy in bed, you will have a happy marriage, or he'll give you whatever you want, or something like that. He'll give you whatever you want.
She ain't lying.
Like that. But, I mean, in all seriousness, even in 1 Corinthians, when it says, for the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time. I mean, it's...
And who's ever going to agree to that? Come on.
Mm-hmm. I do think it's hugely important to have sex, and it's something God gave us. And even when you don't feel like it, just like we don't stop exercising when we don't feel it, you continue to have disciplines. I think you keep doing it till you feel like it again. You know what? It's a closeness that helps all areas. It helps not just men; it helps women in all areas to keep having sex.
No, we do laugh about that, but there's a common denominator of talking to couples that are struggling in marriage and do not have a healthy sex life in their marriage. And it's an important gift from God for marriage that is a big help in marriage. And, the passage of love covers a multitude of sins. I think sex life covers a multitude of dysfunctions. It's great advice. And I'm glad you said it.
He paid me to say that.
I do think it kind of goes along with what as I was kind of thinking through that, of just like prioritizing your marriage relationship as like one of the primary relationship in your life. I think there's a level of, in our world, we can kind of become like idolize our children, even in a lot of ways. And there's a level of like, oh, well, your marriage is about you guys until you have kids. And then now your marriage is all about your kids. And I think we can forget that the relationship that you actually made a covenant in is your marriage relationship. The one that you made a promise to is in your marriage relationship. And I think there's a sense of actually like cultivating that relationship that you promised to cultivate. And a lot of that does come to a level of intimacy. Like sex is what differentiates, is one of the things that differentiates that relationship from any other relationship that you will have. And I think that's it's a gift for marriage. And because there's a level of it brings trust and security and stability to your relationship. And I care about you, you care about me, we love each other, and we are us, So
for sure. If you're listening to this podcast right now and you're married, just press pause. All right, welcome back. We're talking about some practical advice for marriage. What else we got?
I don't know if I can follow that, but mine would probably be pre-marriage advice is kind of twofold of marry your best friend. And if dating is hard and people around you are kind of throwing up some red flags in your relationship, listen to them, because dating should be easy. And if dating is hard, marriage is going to be harder. And marry your best friend. I don't know. I've said this before, but Garrett's the person I would rather do like nothing with and everything with. And I think that is a very good thing. And I also think laughter within your marriage is important. Just it keeps things fun, and it keeps you from having like hurt feelings too. You know, if you can just laugh with each other about everything.
And at inappropriate times.
Yes.
So.
He gets me.
Any other advice, guys, that comes to mind?
I think it's a level just to invest in your marriage. I think we want to, read all these books about all these other things and grow in our knowledge, and those are all really good. But I think there's a level of, hey, if this is going to be my teammate, the person that I'm going to walk and do ministry with for the rest of my life, like I want to continue to grow in knowledge of how to serve my wife better, right? I want to grow in my knowledge of like how to lead my family better. And I think there's like reading books on marriage. I think sometimes we think that marriage books are for only for people who are like struggling in their marriage or are going through marital counseling or are in premarital like preparation, and you're like, man, no, like continue to grow in your knowledge and understanding. And I love Keller's book, Meaning of Marriage, and Piper has this Momentary Marriage, and just giving a big view of marriage in light of what God's done for us, and letting that fuel kind of how we enter into our relationship.
Yeah. I mean, marriage is such a gift, and you do enjoy it. It's a blessing. But I would say, don't put the weight of your happiness on your spouse. Mm-hmm. You will crush them under those expectations, and they are not meant to fulfill you in that way that only God can. I would say the best gift you could give your spouse is your own godliness. And the paradox of it is, I enjoy my wife more when she's satisfied in Jesus and walking close to the Lord. And I would guess she would say the same as me. When I'm not putting my expectations of happiness and fulfillment on her, but am satisfied in Jesus, I'm the better husband in that moment. Well,
and like in that, trusting that the Spirit is going to be the one to change your spouse, that you're not going to change your spouse. Right. And I think that's where sometimes we can be like, well, I'm gonna change this in you and these things in you and make you into who I want you to be. And I think that's where that idolatry piece kind of comes in. But it's like, no, like trusting the Lord first and foremost to do the work in them that needs to be done as a Christian.
Yeah. Veritas, we hope that you guys enjoy not just good marriage, but godly marriage. And there are challenges in it, but there's something bigger going on in marriage than just your own happiness. It is a picture of the gospel. And in our marriages, we want to give a clear, glorious picture of the gospel to our community. So if you're struggling in your marriage, we got people that would love to come alongside and help you work towards experiencing the gift that marriage is in your life. Love you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Veritas Equipping Podcast. If you have any questions you would like us to address or ideas on how we can serve you better, please reach out to us by email at info@veritascr.church and put podcast in the subject line.